Welcome back, runners. This is the second episode of this week's Zoom with a Coach. So, in this episode, we're going to take on the third pillar. So, you talked about three pillars of running and the philosophy of runner's high. So, the third pillar is about having fun right after. What are the first two pillars, Bala? You want to
Commitment and resilience were the first two pillars that we try to hit.
So we talked about the first two pillars in the previous episode. So this time we are going to talk about fun. So concept of fun in a long distance run. I just finished my 16 miler and I was not thinking fun in the middle of that run. So where do you bring fun in that, Bala?
I know, right? I mean, especially if you ask, say, a new runner who is training for a half marathon, especially a new runner, because they would identify with what I'm saying right now. They look at a long distance run, especially as sweat, pain, dehydration,
punishment,
yeah, soreness, breathlessness, and a feeling of what the hell am I doing here alone in the middle of
exactly.
So all of this put it in one bucket has got absolutely no relation to having fun. So I think it's a fair question by you, Coach. How are you even what are you smoking really to connect having fun with this, right? So I think it's an important point we need to talk. Just because you are not able to make the connect immediately doesn't mean that the connection is not existing. I think that's why we should talk about this entirely.
Yeah.
Right? So let's start with the philosophical construct of this. Let's talk about the philosophical construct of this, right? Now, it is my sort of observation that having fun is a question of mindset, right? Now, take an example of somebody who has never done anything for recreation, okay? And he's all his life he's been going, working, coming back, some problems, family problems in life. He's trying to take care of his old mother or father, not enough place to sleep, no electricity in the house. There are a lot of people like that, obviously. Next day again, go for a very tough job and come back, and he's doing on like this for 5 years, right? And one day you catch hold of him and say that, hey, listen, let me take you to one of this horrible theme park that is there that is going to die very soon, that a small expo is there. Just go there and let's just go and do that. And that guy comes in and he goes and sits on the merry-go-round wheel, and he will find it the fantastic fun experience, even though it's just like a 3-story high slowly rotating thing, but he'll feel it's amazing because his mindset is in a different plane, and compared to that he's having a lot of fun doing something different, right? Even though he's been having very, very bad time, his mindset is what gives him the fun. As opposed to, let's say, somebody who goes every 3 months to Disney Park, goes amazing thing, constantly doing, and then you ask me to come and do the same place and say, have fun. The same Ferris wheel, the same thing. For me, it'll be the most worst experience I would have. It's the opposite of fun. So what I'm trying to explain by this example is, having fun first starts with what mindset you are in. If you do not have set the mindset correctly, which is the expectation, which is what is it that you're trying to do, if that is not set now, whatever you do is not going to be fun. At the same way, when you have the right mindset, suddenly whatever you do will be a lot of fun. So I think that's the first thing I want to talk about more philosophically, not just for running. This can apply, if you think about it, Coach, this can apply to your work also, right?
Absolutely.
If you come get to your work with a positive frame of mind, then you would see the most drab work also can suddenly start looking like fun, because it's a positive frame of mind. You feel like you're adding something to the team, even though you're doing the same Excel table calculation 100 times, for instance, right? So I think the mindset is everything for fun. That's my first point I wanted to say. Now, how does this mindset, how does it work in the long distance or this running program? Now, if you think about it, one way of looking at running is what I just told you before. Sweat, yada, yada. The other way of looking at this is, tell me another instance where you had, say, 1 hour of time just for yourself. Tell me, if you just look back in your life, tell me one place where you're sitting at one place and just you, yourself, and your thoughts. I don't think I've ever
Never
had
happens.
Experience. It's been a long time. Unless I just go and lock myself up in a room or in the beach, stand in the beach for some time and look at the ocean That too, I'll get bored of myself after 15 minutes if I just keep looking at ocean and thoughts, right? So this is a very unique thing running gives you. Second thing is, it also opens up new vistas, that new things are entering in your through your eyes and ears, that if you are not alone, you will probably ignore those things. But because you're alone, if you open up your mind, you start experiencing that, that experiential experience of going through a neighborhood, going through anywhere for that matter. So these two things, if you combine together, you can suddenly convert these runs as just a means to an end, as opposed to an end itself. Having fun starts with keep making these runs as a means to an end. The minute you do that, then you start defining end as something else. And when you start defining end as something else, the fun begins in this journey. And I want to see whether you agree with me, and if you have a few thoughts on that, and then we can go.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So this is something very unique, right? I mean, so first off, like you said, the only other stage in my life where I would say I had a time just for myself with nobody interfering with me, actually they were glad to leave me alone, was when I was a kid. When I am a kid, I would just sit down and do something by myself and nobody will bother me. That's the only time in my life. As you grow up, that goes away. So this is like reconnecting with your own youth, with your own young self. And that by itself, for most of us as middle-aged people who have started this journey, is a fantastic concept, right? Young again. Mentally, we are getting young again by just doing this, giving yourself the permission to be with yourself. And running is one unique thing that gives you that.
Yep.
And to add to that, value. When you accomplish something, you bring value to your own self, your own self-worth. So for example, when you run a first mile, the sense of fulfillment that you feel, yes, it was horribly hard when you first did that, but the minute you cross that line, suddenly it was like, oh my God, I want to go back and do that again. It's like your first roller coaster ride. But it is scary when you're on it. But when you finish it, whoa, I want to go do that again. That's what every child, every kid will say that. And I think lots of adults will say that too. So it's just like that. It's just a new experience that you've opened yourself up to and you want to experience it more. And I don't think anything else compares with what running can offer in that sense. Yes.
And Coach, I want to end this by saying some clear examples of how and I'm sure many of us, try to get fun out of these runs. One is seeking out destination runs, right? Actually seeking out. And this season especially, we have had destination run photographs world over. Amazing. Okay, seek out those destination runs. It is something else altogether, going to a different city and running. And even in your own place where you're running, seek out destinations. You will be surprised the number of places that if you just open up your mind and say, okay, I'm ready to go half an hour driving distance from my house to seek out places to run, that's amazing. Running with fellow runners, So in peak mesocycle, every city, but definitely New Jersey, we host joint long runs. We normally go once to the city, we go towards, different places. And I urge all of you to sort of prioritize this and come with us. It's a fun experience, running with a group. That's a great, another point I have seen. Third one is, getting your runs as a medium through which you listen to podcasts and stories and news articles and that type of stuff, where your thoughts and podcast. That means you are like in a different story, but running happens on the side, but really you are also listening to interesting people, all that. This is another way of making your long runs really, or any run, fun. The last thing I've seen people who make it fun, I've seen this, is that the races that they select, like the races that they want to select, is part of the places that they wanted to go. That's like taking it to the next level. And believe me, guys, there is a whole ecosystem of people like that. They call it destination. What is it called? They are marathon vacationers. Basically, they combine their vacation and marathon together, half or full. So they'll say, I'm training for Hawaii marathon. But that's also the time they want to go and enjoy their sort of vacation. So they go there and do this together. That's a whole new ballgame, right? So
and you never experience a city the same way, like running in any other way.
Exactly. So that's what I would say, guys. And maybe we can come back again to the next episode and talk about other things as well.
Excellent.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, coach.
Thank you.